Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today I have decided to come out and do some photography without a real plan. It's not like me. I like to typically plan my photo shoots. I like to figure out where I'm going and what I'm photographing, but I haven't really had opportunity to do that this week. But I actually think that kind of process of just going out without really knowing what it is you're going to photograph can actually be really valuable for your photography. So the reason I haven't been able to necessarily plan this shoot is because for the last couple of days, me and Alex have been up in North Wales. We had a couple of days away in Snowdonia National Park, and whilst I was there I did some 35mm film photography, had a great time, went to some really cool locations which I'm excited to share with you guys in next week's video. So if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss that video. Really excited to share that. But in situations like this, where it's a busy week and I've gotten home and sort of had to catch up on all that home life stuff, this is really the only evening that I have to go out and take photos. And it's the only evening where there's some half decent chance of light. So it's really just a case of not having time to plan and think about what it is I want to do and where it is I'm going to go. I've literally just had to get in the car and start driving. But this whole idea of going out without a plan, just going in the car and driving, there has to be some goal and reason to do that. And I think for me personally, this whole approach forces me to be a lot more aware and receptive to the world around me. I feel if I plan my shoots to the nth degree, I'm so blinkered and I have this tunnel vision of just I need to get to this place to photograph this one subject, and I potentially miss a myriad of different options along the way that could be valuable things to photograph, but I'm just not paying attention to them. So for me, this whole approach that I'm going to do this evening is hopefully going to make me more aware of my local area and potentially help me find things that could be valuable photography subjects. Now I find that even if you're going to do this activity, you've at least got to start somewhere. And for me, I always like to start these types of excursions, these activities, by going to a place that I know locally that has kind of always piqued my interest. And for me, I have always driven past this field. It's about 5 minutes from my house, so really local. And there's this old dovecot, which you can see behind me, which has just been completely abandoned. It's been reclaimed by nature. There's trees growing out of it. And it would have been owned by the stately home, which dates back to the 18th century, that is just in an adjacent field. So there's some local history here. It's just something that's quite interesting. And I just thought with the light this evening, with all this high crop in the field, could offer some nice compositional opportunities. And the second subject is this really nice oak tree that's on the other side of the field, which again just has a lot of the same compositional elements as the dovecot, but is a bit more of a traditional landscape photo, I suppose. But it's the light that's really going to make it. So that's kind of my starting point. But from this point forward, I don't really know what the plan is, but I'm going to talk you through my thought process and how I'm going to approach this to maximize the potential of getting good photos. Now, when venturing out without a solid plan of what it is that you're going to photograph, it can easily lead to feelings that there's a strong likelihood that you won't come back with any photos. That's always a strong motivator for planning photo shoots in the first place. And that's why starting somewhere that interests you is always a good idea, because it gives you a strong likelihood of getting a good photo, or at least any kind of photo, right at the start of this activity, and that can spur you on and motivate you to keep going. And it also creates a great starting point to venture out from. And that's what I did next. So after leaving the field and the dovecot, I drove for about a mile or two until I arrived at another village, and I immediately found something that sparked my interest, that made me sort of pull over and get photographing. Now, if I see old cars, especially Land Rover Defenders, and some really old looking sheds, then you can guarantee that I'm going to stop and take a photo. And that's exactly what I found. Maybe it's the fact that my granddad was a farmer here in North Wales, and those types of scenes kind of remind me of growing up on his farm. Who knows? But this is a scene that could have easily passed me by if I wasn't approaching this outing with an open mind. This open-minded approach just forces me, and I think forces everybody, to just follow their curiosity. You're not restricting yourself to a particular location or a particular photographic subject. And because of that, you're just noticing things and you're creating with absolute freedom. If you ever feel like you're stuck in a rut or you're just not sure where to go with your camera or what you want to photograph, then an exercise like this can be really beneficial. As you drive along, and especially after you've fired off a few photos, you'll be really surprised at how themes suddenly start to emerge in what you're shooting. Maybe it's just what you're feeling in that moment, but it can definitely inform where you should go next. When I started this exercise this evening, I was fully intending on just driving from my house to a village about 10 miles away, because I knew it was a route that would pass through a lot of different environments, from, villages to traditional landscapes to fields and pretty much everything in between. But as I'm driving, I'm remaining open-minded, and I'm always happy to veer away from the route if something inspires me. After taking these first few photos of the dovecot and the cars and the old yard with the Defender and the shed, I was noticing that I was being drawn to a lot of subjects and scenes that were kind of depicting the people and the community of this area. It was all the kind of human stuff. And that was just something that I knew I wanted to sort of chase and focus on for the remainder of this outing. So that's what I began to look out for, and those feelings of uncertainty that I felt at the start of this exercise, not really knowing what I was going to photograph, all completely disappeared, and I was instead feeling really excited and sort of inspired by this new theme that had emerged. A little further up the road, I stumbled across another scene that I felt perfectly fit this new brief I'd created for myself. A scene so ubiquitous in rural North Wales, just more sheds, outbuildings, the charming untidy yards, and the occasional caravan. The light was also getting interesting as the clouds started to roll in, and these two photos, I guess, tell a story of that human fingerprint on the landscape. So whilst planning photo shoots certainly has its place and is a necessary part of the photography process for certain projects, there's also so much room for exploring with absolute freedom. It's these types of exercises, if carried out frequently, that could inspire your next photography project, whether that's a book or a zine, or it could just be something that you feel passionate about, a subject that you've discovered that you just want to learn more about and photograph more. I feel we're at our most creative when we're in those moments of absolute freedom, where we're just adopting this knee-jerk reaction to the things that catch our eye and grab our attention. So give it a go. Pick a route, a walk, a drive, and just go with zero expectation and zero plan for your photography, and just see what you find. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, because let's face it, there are photographs to be taken everywhere, and an exercise like this will just help you notice them. So I'll wrap it up there for today, but thank you as always for tuning in. If you are new here and you've enjoyed this video, do make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos, consider hitting that subscribe button. New videos come out every week on a Wednesday, and there's another one, as I mentioned in this video, coming out next week that I'm really excited about, so make sure to tune in for that. As always, thanks for all the support. I look forward to hearing from you down in the comments, as always, and I'll catch you all next week.